Apparently, UFOs are real.
NFL team hires coach with literally zero coaching experience.
A new dating app that you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need.
It is illegal to take photos of this world-famous landmark.
The gates of hell are, in fact, open, legitimately and seriously.
The world's shortest commercial airline flight is a lot shorter than you'd even think. This is unimportant.
Do not change your life. This is the Unimportant Podcast.
So I'm actually kind of excited about some of these.
Yeah.
There's some that I texted you earlier in the week and was like, there's some of these that I think are hilarious. There's one that's like meh, but also UFOs are never meh, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially these days, now that they're real.
Well, they are real. Like that's for sure. I was filming this. We're filming this really cool project with Turning Point about the space race, and the whole thing is awesome. Like we went to NASA and we did all this cool stuff there, and then like some of us were joking. Well, I think some of us were joking. We're like, all right, so when do we film the documentary about the fake moon landing, as opposed to the real one, which obviously is a joke. I think. Mostly, for the most part.
Yeah, definitely a joke, I think.
Do you want to go first? What story are you excited about?
I'm excited about all of them. This one was probably the most shocking to me. So,
which is hard to do. It's hard to shock you.
Really?
I think so.
Mr. Overreaction. I feel like I would not be the one to shock.
Whether or not it's actually shocking doesn't depict your reaction necessarily. I'm just talking about the cynicism that is myself and you of like, yeah, hey, there's this person that decided to, I don't know, round up and eat a bunch of penguins. I mean, like, yeah, that's just the world now. So
that's just what
that
people
was
do.
a terrible example.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but so NFL coaches are some of the most talented, skilled, hardworking leaders anywhere. Like these guys are CEOs of multi-billion-dollar NFL franchises. Like they are notorious workaholics, right?
Yes.
They literally work 19 plus hours a day during the season and then take like 4 days off.
Yeah.
Like Bill Belichick's notorious for after winning the Super Bowl saying, well, realistically, we're behind on next year.
we got to get back to work. Yeah, that's funny.
So these guys spend years working their way up to this position.
Yes.
Unless they just get hired with zero experience, which just happened.
In the NFL?
Yes, the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh,
the Indianapolis Colts just hired Jeff Saturday as their head coach, who has never coached anything before, aside from a small private high school that he coached for, I believe, 1 year.
This is hilarious. I was talking to an Uber driver about this on Tuesday. He was talking about, the Colts like just hired Jeff Saturday, and I'm like, oh, okay, like. Has he been coaching for the team for a while? Like, is he one of the coordinators? And the guy's like, no. And I was like, oh, like, where was he coaching before? He was like, he's an ESPN analyst. Like, okay, so what happened there?
So if you don't know who Jeff Saturday is, and you might not, he's not really a household name. He played center for the Indianapolis Colts for a long time. Great player. One of the great offensive linemen, great centers of all time. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good coach. Like,
Jeff Saturday is most famous for having the guy from the Buick commercials hands on his butt.
Yeah.
Also known as Peyton Manning.
There's an amazing video that's been going around recently. So Peyton Manning walks up to Saturday on the sideline and just starts cussing him out. He's just screaming and yelling at him.
Is this real?
Yeah, it's real. He's like, this is from, I don't know, 2007 or something. He's like, are you calling the plays now, Jeff? Are you calling the plays? Stop calling the plays. Just block. Stop calling the plays. Like, hilarious that guy is now actually calling the plays.
That's funny. That's hilarious. And also, yeah, Peyton Manning, just one of the Jeff Saturday, I feel like is also pretty funny too. Like I've seen him on some of the commentary. Now, whether or not being funny translates well into managing an NFL program, I don't actually know.
No clue. Like nothing like this. I don't think anything like this has ever happened before. I kind of looked around to see like, is anybody just gotten a coaching job because? And I don't think it ever has.
At the risk of becoming a sports talk show, it seems, or at least the brief thinking that I'm doing about this, are the Colts, do they suck this year?
They are terrible. They just fired their coach because they're terrible.
So is there any possibility that this is a PR stunt and also doubles in the fact that hopefully they lose more and get a first-round draft pick?
Well, get this. They also fired, the week before they fired their coach, they fired their offensive coordinator. Their new offensive coordinator, they promoted.
Okay.
He's 30 years old. His previous role,
that's cool,
was the Colts' assistant quarterback coach.
Okay. So he's the assistant quarterback coach, then gets promoted to the offensive coordinator. That's a usual, normal career trajectory.
That would be like hiring a crossing guard as the chief of police for New York City.
That's a pretty good analogy. Like the mall cop is now in charge of the Secret Service.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Nothing against mall cops, but that's hilarious. I'm excited to see how Jeff does. Best of luck. You know, it would be hilarious. It would make Jim Irsay very, very upset if Jeff Saturday comes in and wins out the rest of the season.
Dude, you kind of wonder if he will. And like, I watched a little bit of his press conference the other day because I was like, this is must see TV. Like this guy just shows up out of nowhere, and he was like, he was not hearing it. Like the reporters are also like, so what are your qualifications? And he's like, what do you mean? What are my qualifications? Well, like he was like going off. Like he was like, I'm here for this. We're gonna win. I was like, all right,
that's awesome. Well, good for him. Best of luck.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm trying to think of which one I would like to. Do you have any more on that? Because that's hilarious. Go Jeff. Go Colts.
Go Jeff.
Go Matt Ryan. I guess.
Who has been benched for the rest of the year, by the way.
Has he really?
Yeah, he is not playing. He is officially he will be officially retired soon.
Got it. Well, this is from a couple of years ago, but I feel like it's pretty dang relevant. Actually, you know what is our goal here? I'm gonna have an on-air meeting. Is the goal to front load all of the cool, hilarious stories at the front, or is it to save it for the end? I don't think it matters because of how we clip this up. But like, I don't know. What should I go top story first or last?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
I think you have to have viewers for it to matter.
I'm gonna go middle story first.
Middle story first. All right.
You've heard of dating apps, correct?
I have. I'm never got the opportunity to use them, but
we've talked about this at length before. I think both a tragedy and a gift in a lot of ways.
No kidding.
Yeah, never got to use the dating apps. Probably a good thing in the long run.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of this type of dating app? In Iceland, first of all, there is a couple questions that you have to ask before quote unquote hooking up with a person in the country of Iceland. Those three questions are: do you have protection? Do you have any sexually transmitted diseases? And lastly, but most importantly, are you my cousin? Which is hilarious, but also a very important question to ask.
It's a small country. I would imagine there's a decent amount of cousins.
You do want to know that before initiating relations with an individual.
All right. Now, well, this begs the obvious question. If the answer is yes, is there anything preventing the dating from continuing?
If the answer is yes, you got to make sure the first two questions are locked down solid. That might be the worst thing I've ever said on a podcast. Let me see. So that's a problem there, right? Now, how do you fix that solution Well, in an island of just 300,000 people, sleeping with a distant relative may be inevitable. Sleeping with close relatives, however, remains one of the things that people would most like to avoid. And now, finally, there's an app for that. The News of Iceland reports that a team of software engineers have scraped a publicly accessible genealogy website known as Some Icelandic Word, the Book of Icelanders, to produce the Android app called Some Icelandic Word.
Cousin Buster.
Along with a range of controversial search functions, the app allows a feature that can bump individuals' phones to let users know how closely they are related. Like, hey, hold on. Let's get out our phones here and see if this is a problem.
It's like cousin roulette.
Well, yeah, it's so here's the question, right? I'm not familiar with this world entirely, but I would imagine, say you come home from some Icelandic bar with a nice young female, and you're very excited. You bump phones, and oh no, they're my cousin.
Right.
What do you do with that situation? It's 2 a.m. Neither one of you are probably able to drive a vehicle. Do you just,
like you said? I think this really depends on your answer.
The first couple of questions, yeah, that's problematic. Geez, that was.
I think it's interesting. So if there's 300,000 people in Iceland, and they said, like, I would have assumed this was like one guy who made this, but no, a team of engineers put this together, which means a decent chunk of the.
Well, it's a big.
Like, how much is a team? Is it 2? Is it 10? Like, it's a decent. It's a large percentage when you consider how serious this is. Of the Icelandic workforce committed to this issue.
Yes, but put yourself in their shoes. Would you, if you're an Icelander, if you're Icelandicer, what's the term for Iceland? If you're a person that lives in Iceland and you're concerned about this, I would pay top dollar for an app that ensures that I don't doink my cousin. If that's the kind of lifestyle that I'm looking to live.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Behind every sign, there's an idiot that makes it necessary.
Yeah. So the app, this is rather old, but the app has drawn 4.5 out of 5 stars in the Google Play Store thus far. I don't know what it's called, but it should be called Cousin Bump. Oh, this is funny. This there's a quote on their website that says, "If I had had this app last year, I probably wouldn't have gone home with my cousin," which is exactly what this app is seeking to avoid.
Wait, that's on the actual site?
It's on their website, or at least formerly, because again, this is a couple years old. I don't know how.
That's like the actual slogan. I would have thought that was like a joke review or something, but no, that's the actual slogan.
Would you utilize this app early on in the evening? And how would you bring that up? Because this is actually, I'm very curious about this. This is strategy.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you use it too early on, right? If you meet somebody and you're having a great time, you're like, hey, we should do this app. What you're doing is effectively signaling, hey, this is where I'd like this evening to go, and that can crush the evening, I would imagine. But if you do it too late, like in the previous example, now you're sitting there.
You run the risk of not caring.
Yeah. This is fascinating. I wonder if this app can like somehow be reconfigured and reutilized to show people who is where in the. That seems like as I'm saying it out loud, that seems like a pretty big privacy concern. Well, you go into a bar or somewhere and it says, "Hey, you have 4 cousins, and here they are. Don't go talk to them." I don't know. It seems it's presumptuous to go at the beginning, but at the same time, you don't want to go too late. Probably right before you leave.
Place.
Yeah. The only thing other than that I know about Iceland is from what I've learned in D2 The Mighty Ducks. So
I was gonna say, and Eurovision.
Eurovision, yeah. Another
one of the great movies of all time. If you haven't seen Eurovision, go watch it.
I call it a film. That's how great I
film, yeah.
It's a film.
My wife and I jokingly say, "I'm checking you out on a weekly basis."
Ya Ya Ding Dong is one of my favorite songs. If you don't know Ya Ya Ding Dong, I am the guy in the movie who screams Ya Ya Ding Dong when somebody isn't playing Ya Ya Ding Dong. This is, if you haven't seen this is horribly out of context and references.
But
you have no idea
if you do.
Yeah. All right. What else? What else is happening around the world?
What's the longest plane ride you've ever taken?
13 hours.
That's
actually it might have no, I lied. I think it was like 15 because I was talking about the most recent one from New York to Tel Aviv was like 13 hours, but I don't know. It's long.
That's a long time.
Is what I'm asking. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yes.
Much longer.
Mm-hmm.
By about 13 hours than the shortest plane ride in the world.
Commercial plane ride?
Commercial plane ride. This is a route that is flown, I believe, daily. It's in Scotland, I think, between two little islands there that apparently don't have like good docks or whatever. So like there isn't like a good ferry connection between them, and obviously you can't drive. So the easiest way to get between the islands is to fly. The flight takes on average 53
seconds.
53 seconds.
That was exactly the amount of time it took for the AP to call Gavin Newsom won California. We timed it. It was exactly 53 seconds from when the polls closed to Gavin Newsom announced for president. Or sorry, wow, foreshadowing. When Gavin Newsom was announced the winner, that's the time. Anyways,
that's hilarious.
Random 53-second knowledge.
But yeah, so the distance is 1.7 miles, which I would imagine is kind of an estimate because, like, at what point on the runway are you? Like, I don't even know how you would measure that. But apparently, like, a lot of people take it every day. It's an 8-person plane.
Why do people live on the island that doesn't have any natural ports?
I don't know, man.
I mean, unless they're getting to the island for some sort of like scientific research, like this is
no. It's like people flying to work. It's two little islands in Scotland that Westray, and Papa Westray are the two islands.
How much did that flight cost?
$22. I think round trip.
Yeah, and that would make sense. And two, I mean, I don't know what their TSA situation is like, but I'd be kind of irritated.
I saw a photo of the airport. I don't think
they don't do that there.
Nah, it's like you just kind of roll up.
Yeah, that's funny. Jeez. Well, I guess I don't know. That would be a fun thing to do. I wouldn't mind taking that flight just for shiggles. Yeah. I wonder, do they? So okay, this is at the risk of going off on a different tangent here because I've.
That's kind of what we do here. So
I gotta be very, very careful here to not offend too many people. Do you think they charge at all for that flight by weight? When we're talking about smaller plane commercial flights, I believe in some places in the South Pacific, Samoa may be an example. They charge people by weight on those very, very small planes. Is that like a thing in Scotland?
I don't know about that flight, but it should be a thing everywhere. I'm a big fan of weighted flights.
I have got to say less things.
No.
I was on a flight on Tuesday, and I was in the window seat in the front aisle on a Southwest flight where you get to pick anywhere you want to sit. And the person over the announcement saying said, "This is rather an empty flight. We have a window and an aisle seat for everyone." Someone who weighs, I don't know, 350 pounds apparently missed that announcement and sat right next to me, pressed up against the window. And I was furious.
Window or aisle for everyone? Nah.
No, I want
I'm
to sit
going
in the
middle.
front. I want to sit in the front, and I want to irritate that guy.
That's fascinating.
I don't know what. Wow, this is we're gonna go off tangent after tangent after tangent here, but that's a problem. That sort of thing is a problem.
I'm just saying, if my bag weighs 52 pounds, I'm paying $45 or whatever extra for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fan. Whoa! I never even thought of that.
What?
That's a. So, well, effectively, you're putting on the same weight on this plane as, I don't know, name a person that's overweight. You're putting the same amount of weight on the plane as them.
Yeah. I've seen people roll up to the counter and their bag's like 51 pounds. And so they just start taking layers out and put it on.
Oh, I get that. That's fine. I'm talking about just like you as a person, right? If you're, I don't know, 180 pounds and you have a 50-pound bag, that equates for what, 230 pounds. Right. There are people that are way
larger than that.
Way above 230 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I didn't even think of that. Huh. Now, I feel like the bottom line here, and I want to make this abundantly clear, I hope that everybody decides to take advantage of the plentiful health resources out there to take control of their life. I'm not trying to shame people. I'm just saying I hope you figure out some way to be healthy and happy.
Yeah.
But in the meantime,
don't sit next to me.
I would prefer you not to take the one seat in the middle next to me.
That's funny.
Anyways, is that me?
What
story was that?
I think you're up, dude.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna go with the this is a meh story. Like, I'm not super excited about it, but I'm not super not excited about it. Former manager of the DoD, the Department of Defense Aerospace Threat Program said, and I quote, "UFOs are real." This is from a couple years ago, and interestingly enough, okay. Something extraordinary was revealed today. Former high-level officials and scientists with the deep black experience who have always remained in the shadows have come forward on one platform. These insiders have long-standing connections to the government agencies that may have programs investigating unidentified aerial phenomena. In other words, UFOs. 25-year veteran, a guy named, who I'm not going to name. Actually, I don't even know if he is named. He just says all of his list says UFOs are definitely real. That's basically it on the story here. And if you want to muse on the fact that, we all know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is this the first official acknowledgement from a legit government entity?
I don't know. I don't know. And it depends on what that means. That guy, who's the famous dude that's now famous because he's gone on Joe Rogan's podcast quite a bit and talked about UFO. Bob Lazar, I think, is his name. Does he count? I feel like he was pretty high up there, but I don't know. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, I think my favorite stories of these are from. There's like 2 or 3 of them. I think, like pilots. Like military pilots that are like, oh yeah, it was right next to me, and what the hell?
Yeah. And there's no reason. Like, I don't think any of these people get like big book contracts or public appearance fees. Like, I just don't think that is the case. So why else would you say that sort of thing unless you're looking at UFOs? I don't know. I just feel like it's a thing. Okay, so I joked earlier about the moon landing being fake. Have you ever dove into that?
No.
The one thing
I always just kind of assumed I didn't care. My life was not changed if we went to the moon or not.
The one thing that has been brought up to me in going on these moon landing was fake diatribes was some guy would like, look at the shadows. Like the shadows on the astronauts as they're on the moon would be impossible to fake in a Hollywood set that early on. There's no computer generated graphics. There's no ability to have lights stretched that far back as the sun would while being on the moon. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sure there's a visual that would make more sense, but that kind of was like, all right. One of my favorite conspiracies is now debunked, which doesn't make me happy. Good news is, though, I have yet to hear a cohesive argument to prove that the Earth is spherical.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I somehow the other day got down a rabbit hole of, because one of the favorite like arguments of non-moon landing people is, well, we should be able to see the landing site, like the flag and all that. And I was reading that is not possible and likely won't be possible for the next several hundred years. Like the imaging technology to get a telescope to look that far in that much detail is essentially impossible. It's something that like nobody currently who does this kind of thing would know how that would ever be possible, which is weird when you think we can look billions of light years out into space, but we cannot find that on the, like, we can't look at it on the moon. And they're like, it just, the resolution or whatever needed to do that, like, does not exist and likely won't ever. And I was like, that's interesting. It doesn't feel like the moon is that far away.
That seems, I'm skeptical of that.
It made a lot of sense when I read it, and it sounded like it was written by somebody who knew what they were talking about, and certainly they were smarter in that domain than me. So it made sense when I read it. I don't remember why. It had something to do with like the way lenses are and the way the atmosphere is. You would never be able to get that much resolution to be able to see something this wide or whatever, you know, like 2 feet wide or whatever it is.
Interesting. There is a new space. While we were filming this thing, we were in Florida, and I get to see Artemis, which is the new like massive rocket that Boeing is building for NASA. Which that's a whole interesting thing in of itself. Did you know that military contractors contract with NASA to build the rockets? Like Boeing is building Artemis because they won the bid with the federal government. And it's like $33 billion on this project. And that's going up and it's supposed to go to the moon. And I wonder,
that's a lot of homeless veterans.
Yeah. And about a third of the money we've sent to Ukraine. Anyway.
By the way, note about that before we go any further.
Okay.
This year we will spend $500 billion to Ukraine. Right about.
What do you mean?
In aid, the money in 2022, we're on track. I believe the number is 500 billion, right?
I don't know. I thought it was like 80 billion, but I could be wrong. I thought that was like
maybe it's 50. I don't know. Point being, it is the identical amount of money, like to the dollar, that in 21 we spent in Afghanistan, and in 20 we spent in Afghanistan, and 19 and 18 and 17 and 16 and 15, and the last it's the identical amount of money. So and it makes you wonder, how on earth do these two places in two totally different areas around the world just happen to need exactly the same amount of money?
It makes you
Isn't that weird?
Makes you kind of wonder, is it one of those, hey, you got to use the budget or else you don't get it next year?
It kind of makes you wonder that maybe something like that's going on.
You know, I don't know why it seems like you're questioning the federal
the integrity government of politicians.
Yeah, what? Come on, get out of here with that crap. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Basically, the DoD says, yeah, UFOs are definitely real. There's more to the story that specifies specifically what they're talking about, and it makes it less exciting, honestly, because it really narrows it down to specific things, and I don't want to go there. I want to know. I just want to take it for the headline and say that UFOs are real.
Yeah, I feel like UFO is one of those things where, like, the definition definitely exists.
Yes.
What the average person takes UFO and then extrapolates onto it to get to IT or ET, I mean.
Extraterrestrials.
We'll see.
Yeah. What do you have? What's your what? I forgot what I remember being excited about it.
It is illegal to take photos of this world famous landmark.
Where in the? I'm gonna try and guess. Is it a well-known landmark?
It may be the most well-known landmark.
What? Is it where? What continent is it on?
Europe.
Europe. Most famous landmark. No, it's not the Eiffel Tower.
It is the Eiffel Tower.
What do you mean it's illegal to take? I've seen pictures.
Illegal pictures. So check this out.
Interesting.
I'm not going to go into all the details. Basically, in France, all of the like artwork or like the public things created by artists, which the Eiffel Tower apparently is, the copyright for them lasts until a certain amount of time, 70 years, or it's like, 70 years or whatever.
Okay.
Obviously, the Eiffel Tower has been around for more than 70 years, so it's clear. You're good. But
you wouldn't have had to take photos?
You wouldn't have been allowed to, no.
What?
That the copyright has passed now. But in 1985, I've never seen this. I didn't know it existed until I saw this, but apparently there's a light show every evening that goes on at the Eiffel Tower. It all lights up in that whole like center area or whatever. Like people travel from all over the world to see it.
Yeah.
That was created in 1985, which 70 years has not passed since then. So it is technically illegal in France to take photos of this light show. So taking photos of the Eiffel Tower lit up at night is illegal. And technically, the French government in a French court can sue you if you have taken and posted these photos.
You know what I say to that? Good luck, Frenchie.
Yeah.
I'm an American citizen. I'll do whatever I please.
I don't think it's ever actually going to happen, but
no,
it is technically illegal.
All right, so here's this discussion. What good is an unenforced law? Like, if you never enforce a rule, what the heck is the point of the rule?
A law only counts if you can enforce it.
Yeah, like no shoes in the steam room and don't play music at the gym without your headphones. Like those rules. Why are those even rules if nobody's going to go around and talk to people about breaking those rules? Obviously, I was just at the gym and people were playing their music on their phones out loud, and I didn't want to say anything because there's so many tangents. All right, and did you have you talk now?
I was just gonna point out more rules that are stupid, that are unenforceable, like speeding on California highways or
traffic laws in general.
Walking your dog without pants on.
Traffic laws in general in California are basically a suggestion. Like, hey, we'd prefer if you didn't go 95 miles an hour down a school road, but there's nothing we're going to do about it.
Yeah, we won't do anything if you do.
Well, that's silly.
Yeah.
Let's see. So this I thought was freaking hilarious. And I hope you find it as funny. But in case you didn't know, the gates of hell are open and they're burning every single day for the last a long time.
I don't know what that means.
That means the gates of hell are open and burning as we speak. Did you know this?
I'm not sure what to say. I feel like more information is needed.
Scientists in Turkmenistan thought they had found oil. Everybody wants to find oil. We would like to find oil. They would like to find oil. All of the countries in the Middle East would like to find more oil. Turkmenistan scientists thought they had found oil. So they dug a hole. They dug a hole in the ground because they thought they found oil. Justifiable, makes sense. Turns out, unfortunately, the hole was natural gas. The gas they had found was not oil, it was natural gas. Still, no harm, no foul. The hole, however, because it was natural gas, collapsed into a crater. So now these scientists who think they found oil accidentally stumbled on natural gas, and oh no, we started digging in the natural gas, so now it collapsed into a massive, massive crater. From the crater, the hole began releasing methane. Okay, well, this is becoming a problem. We thought we found oil. Fine that we didn't, but we dug a hole. It was natural gas. The hole cratered in, and now methane is being released into the air. We have a problem here, people.
This is one of those things that, like, no offense to Turkmenistan people or Turkmenistanese. But like, this is not something that happens in the more developed world. Like, I don't know,
Thinking that the methane gas leaking into the air was a health risk, the scientists threw a grenade into the crater.
That's generally how you fix these issues.
To try and stop the gas leak from happening. They thought, well, if we just implode the crater, it would cover up everything, and therefore we would not have a methane leak into the air, poisoning people.
That's actually not half bad thinking. It probably wasn't what I would do, but I could see how you could think that.
Except the natural gas and methane ignited, creating what we now call the gates of hell, which have been burning in Turkmenistan for the last 50 years.
Whoa. I thought you were going to say like 5 weeks or something.
No, it's been burning for 50 years. These idiots thought they found oil. Turns out it was natural gas. Now they're leaking methane. Figure out, I know what will fix this problem. I'll throw a grenade in the hole. And now it's been burning for 50 straight years.
You know the saying, burning money? Like, that's just burning money. It's like... This is where it came from.
Well, there's no way to put it out too, because you can't throw water on it. You can't there's just no effective way of putting out. The pictures of this are unbelievable. Maybe we'll have this thrown in during the editing section. But it's crazy. It's literally an entire flaming pit in the ground that if you were going to describe what the gates of hell looked like, that's what it is.
That is so funny.
What I thought was funny about this. What I thought was funny about this is there was a.
This is the problem. I went to go search this, but I had to spell Turkmenistan, which.
Turkish. What is it? Turk.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Gates of hell. Yeah, it's just a big. It's a big crater that has just now been burning. It's called the
tourist attraction now. There's gates and overlooks and boardwalks and
that's what it is. It's called the Darvaza gas crater, also known as the door to hell or gates of hell, is a burning natural gas field collapsed into a cavern near Dargaza, Turkmenistan.
That is funny.
That's hilarious.
How many people visit the gates of hell every year, you think?
This one. Accurate reports show how the crater ignited have not been discovered. Well, that ruins the story. Some facts are disputed. One of the most popular theories is that Soviet geologists intentionally set it on fire in 1971 to prevent the spread of methane gas. # throwing a grenade in it. And has been continually burning ever since.
Jeez.
Oh, what kind of, like, if you were the guy that was like, hey, I have this idea, let's throw a grenade at. Do you remember the hurricane off the coast of Florida that Donald Trump thought we should nuke? And like, hey, there's a tropical storm that could turn into a hurricane. Mr. President, do you have any ideas? Hey, yeah, maybe we should nuke it.
This reminds me of how Elon Musk says that we could solve climate change by nuking the North Pole.
Really? I don't know of this.
Yeah. You haven't heard about this?
No.
Elon Musk's plan for solving global warming or climate change or whatever the new term is to nuke the poles.
What would that do?
It would drop the temperature. I don't know. I listened to him explain it one time. When he was done, I did not know how it would help. But I was very convinced that he was smarter than me. And while I don't think this is a good plan, just knee-jerk reaction, I don't know.
This is the same guy that tweets memes all night. Right? The same guy we're talking about, the guy who just messes around. He bought a platform to mess around on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how seriously we should take all of his ideas.
I don't know.
That's hilarious.
Well, all right, man. Well, I feel like we talked about a whole lot of nothing for 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, and what else is new? That's I feel like that's the general consensus. So
that's kind of what we do, huh?
How do we figure we're ending these again? Just saying, all right, that's it.
I think we just make it weird and awkward and try to do better next time.
That's it. That's what it's try to do better next time.
Yeah. All right. Well.